I gotta go with Torrent. That's the only way I can possibly see this one going. Everybody is a fan of Torrent today, except for those who are, Ghost Gaming staff. Even then, you might get a little bit of crossover, but I feel like Torrent are the absolute, I don't even say heavy, I don't think Ghost have any favoritism coming into this one. They may just live up to their namesake and disappear in this series if Torrent come in with the same strength they had in the last one. But they're still here, and they are ready to compete. They've had to battle through a gauntlet, and Torrent will stand as the ultimate challenge for Ghost Gaming here in the grand final.
Honestly, that's an incredible statement you have just made. I don't know if I 100% agree that Ghost have got no shot in this one, but I do think that we're going to see Torrent coming into this one the heavy favorites, and some of the Ghost fans in chat are probably wondering, why are you saying that? Folks, if you didn't keep up with the last series here, as we probably do have a couple of new viewers trickling in that are Ghost Gaming fans, Torrent just 4-0 swept NRG with keeping them shut out for 27 minutes straight. The last time that NRG was able to score in that series was game 1 just past halftime. After that, they did not score a single goal the rest of the series. So Torrent, they're coming into this one not just red hot, they are magma at this point, and they are looking to explode in an eruption that will take down Ghost Gaming with them. And there's the player to watch. If Zanil is feeling himself, you have got to be scared.
Explosive like TNT. They could not break the defense, and that's what we said, Ghost. You have got to watch out. You got to somehow hold the back line, and you got to somehow find a way to explode just as quickly as Torrent can. They've made it past the first minute without conceding a goal, so that's already, I think, something commendable. Certainly they know that they have their task cut out for them. They've been able to keep actually a little bit of zone time here. Only one shot on either side. This could be number 2, but Hoxer just does not have the attack angle on that one. Back towards the mid, but Smashgg is there to respond. Beaten out by Zanil. Kinsey even lurking for this. Just does not have the boost to go after that ball. I don't know. I feel like Torrent have completely reset. And I will admit, there were times during that last series, especially in the 4 minutes of overtime that we saw, they were playing a very theory-based game of Rocket League. They were giving necessary respect to NRG. It means, I think, that they are approaching this with due caution. They're not necessarily just taking that victory and saying, all right, yeah, we're just going to come out here and play our game. They are waiting. They are respecting every shot that comes their way. And Smashgg displaying it quite nicely on the goal line twice in succession.
Now, this has been the issue, though. This is exactly what NRG struggled against when they were playing against Torrent before. Even when they look vulnerable, even when you are bumping players on this team, the cohesion from Torrent makes it so that someone is there to close those gaps and get it downfield. Good example there as Smashgg, despite giving up the sacrifice and taking himself out of that game, he's still going to be able to get it downfield and make this difficult for Ghost to keep up with their pressure. A demo like that, though, might be able to open up some more space, especially with a 50-50 out of Shock. We said Shock was starting to come to life, and he's continuing to do so here in this second series for them in a row. Let's see if they can continue on their ways, though, because there goes the end of that pressure. Zanil going to try to go for a 50-50. Drops down low. Kinsey there. Lion Blaze to get in the way, and same with Shock. Smashgg denied as well, and same with Kinsey yet again. I got to give credit. The big issue we were also seeing with NRG is that they were making last-second saves, and that was the only way to stop the offense out of Torrent. This time, it seems like Ghost are a lot more prepared. They are getting in the way of almost every single shot.
We said it on stream before. A good defense will stop the ball on the goal line. A great defense will never let it get there. Shout out to Subpar. In the early days of Rocket League, they were the ones who taught us that valuable lesson. And Ghost, clearly going to need to take that one to heart here. And it seems they've been doing a reasonable job of it so far. Smashgg going to follow suit, getting that one away just before the goal line. Got very little time left to play here, and still many speculative shots on target. Nothing particularly deadly. This might be the first, though. Kinsey out towards the mid. I think some additional contact may have been merited, but now the counterattack down the way. Smashgg able to tackle Lion Blaze early on. Still the redirect threat is there, and Kinsey will be able to see that one safely out to the sideline. This is just another one of those close contests that we were expecting here in the grand final.
At this point, this is kind of what we were expecting from the two teams as a whole. Just both of these squads have been so spectacular over the last couple of months, been getting better and better, and I think that's honestly what makes me the happiest about the AAA Challenger Series as a whole, is that we've been able to witness this growth of so many teams that have gone from, okay, somewhat bubble to truly RLCS caliber. I don't think anybody can argue that Ghost and Torrent are not two of the most up-and-coming teams in all of North America, RLCS or beyond, and it's so much fun to see where they're at now in comparison to the beginning of this season. With 40 seconds to go, I want to see where they end this game, though, here, because it feels like we're going to have yet another scoreless first game that is going to result in a single goal in overtime. I don't know why, but it just feels like these two teams are not going to be able to avoid overtime a single game through the series.
We'll see. Manfield still leaves a goal to be desired, as you mentioned. Torrent do find themselves moving downfield here off the backboard, though. Kinsey has to leave respect on that one for Shock. A very back-and-forth game to this point. Oh, but a huge miss there from Kinsey. It forces Zanil to get into the action. Hawks is able to keep it in the zone, though. Magic Bear is forced into the air after the fact, and will be able to clear it down. Still some time on the clock. Zanil shut down there by Shock. The pass immediately from Lion Blaze, and this is still playable for either side. Kinsey going to win that challenge just barely, and Hawks are able to keep it in the air. Still a shot, but they will let it drop. Overtime, game 1.
And just give us overtimes on overtimes at this point here. My heart can't take it. My voice probably cannot either. But you know what? It's worth it for the content at this point here. And the content could end quickly if Ghost got a good breakaway play. But instead, it's actually going to be Magic Bear who's going to try and get a little bit cheeky with it. And a 1v1, Zanil not able to win. But luckily enough, Kinsey will back him up. That was not just choreographed. These guys were tap dancing around Ghost.
The mind games from Zanil, forcing out 2 players in the last, just has to guess at where that one might go. That is a key play for Torrent in the end. And of course, it's a simple one at that. Zanil making him look a little bit like the fool in that particular contest. They've got the lead. However, Ghost, it was still a good step in the right direction. And of course, say a step in the right direction, we obviously started towards that neutral bit. But Utopia Coliseum is up next. They had some good offense. I would love to see some of those solo antics from Lion Blaze. Clearly, they didn't have the opportunity. Both these teams knew that they were going to have to come in and play a very theory-based game of Rocket League, which I have already iterated upon. I'll leave that for now for you guys to speculate upon on your own. But Game 2 now underway. Ghost, the ones that need a response.
And I will say, something I do want to mention here, shout out to Vaudable again behind the scenes. My man has been stat plugging us this entire day. This is also a kind of big game here for Ghost as well. This would be... Oh my word, please go in. Okay, all right, it's not in. It's okay, we'll go back to my previous topic. This would be 2 in a row for Ghost if they're able to take this one. It'd be a 2-peat, and they're going to put in the first bite to get there. Lion Blaze, 20 seconds into game 2, will find the first goal for Ghost Gaming.
Choo-choo. I mean, Magic Bear finds themselves on the rails there as Lion Blaze comes out of nowhere to get that demo. And then, of course, the shot absolutely unexpected there for Kinsey and Zanil alike. That's a quick lead for them. I wonder if they'll be able to compound upon it. You can go for a bit of a physical play against Magic Bear immediately off the backboard line, like, faked out by Zanil. It's not often you see him lose a 1v1 like that, but Zanil making him look the fool again.
I'm telling you, man, Zanil is getting some of that 1v1 prowess from his 2 teammates. Magic Bear and Kinsey, some of the most prolific 1v1 players in North American history. And Zanil, he might just be trying to put his name in the history books as well. 1-1 here with 4:30 to play. And you know what I just noticed? After shutting out Ghost in Game 1, that is over a half hour of Torrent gameplay without them conceding. That's their first goal in over 30 minutes.
Let's just say that their defense is okay. Yes,
I
think it's okay. They almost get the redirect downfield here as well. Hoxer does guard that top corner of the net. Somehow able to read that play. Initially, Shock also stopping Magic Bear only temporarily. Lion Blaze towards the mid. Thankfully, there was a demolition by Hoxer on the play to reduce the midfield presence to almost nothing on the Torrent side. So continue to play. Tie game past the first minute.
Oh, and all of a sudden, though, it does look like there's a little bit of resistance out of midfield. Ghost starting to get a bit more aggressive, and again, we said they were getting in the way of the plays before, but they were more getting in the way of the offense here. Now that they're starting to prevent the defense from transitioning out all too easily, it's going to be a bit of a different game here for Torrent, but not one that they're going to be uncomfortable by. A couple of 50-50s going to pop Ghost back into their own half, but Hoxer has free space in the air. He's going to try and connect with Shock. Doesn't necessarily work out, but Lion Blaze is there to back him up. That's a double commit, though. It's up to Kinsey to keep this one out, and perfectly does so. Sends it to the ceiling, makes it awkward for Shock, but speaking of awkward, how does Zanil get there? I didn't even see him going for that.
And the perfect post bounce as well. Shock for the Doomsday Dish. What a save! The stop on the goal line, and they won't get it away. Hoxer has the read. My heart cannot take this right now, Baz. Still, what a play from Kinsey and Zanil, the ice to get it out, but just not enough.
Honestly, you have to be wondering, as much as we're screaming here in the booth, that has got to be Ghost Gaming just cursing everyone on Torrent right there, going, just let it in, let it in, let it in, just screaming on repeat. And guess what? Ghost, that's probably how this entire series is going to go for you guys. If you thought that was a difficult goal to get, be prepared. Torrent are going to make every single one of those that hard. And speaking of which, bumps in the net, still not enough. Kinsey finds the save and transitions downfield for Torrent.
Still though, Hoxer, the placement almost perfect. They might have been looking for the top corner, might have been looking for a double tap either way. Zanil had only to watch it. They knew it was going to be out. Now the huge 50-50 win from Smashgg, but with zero support. You talk about how difficult Torrent are going to be making these plays. It looks like Ghost have found the exact response they're looking for. Lively's almost even with a dunk against Smashgg, and things are getting antic on the goal line. This is we're reaching halftime here. Torrent somehow keeping Ghost to an only 1-goal lead. They need to find something downfield here and now. They've done a great job on their offense so far in this series, but let's be honest, the volume of offense has been way too low. But finally, Zanil finds us a random pass out in the mid and places it perfectly.
Again, I hate that this is so well choreographed because you can see this two ways to Sunday. Hawkser doesn't go up for this one, so Zanil says, okay, free real estate. I'm going to shoot this one bottom right, and Shock's just going to have to guess where this one's going. Dude, Zanil is in control of this pitch. I don't know what to say. In a series where usually we would be highlighting Lion Blaze above all else, it is the young gun in Zanil that has just taken this series by storm. But not to discredit the rest of Torrent. Kinsey with yet another insane save. The defense, again, for Torrent has not just been immaculate, it has been perfection. If you've ever wondered what Rocket League defense should look like, just study this series and the last one out of Torrent. It has been something else.
Exemplary. That's the best way to describe it, in my opinion. And they have been able to tie things up here. Although Ghost, certainly not for lack of trying. Lion Blaze going to go over top of Zanil here. Smashgg forced to bail him out. Finds Kinsey on the transition downfield. I bet you don't want to leave out credit for any of the Torrent players. Ghost, Kinsey, no contact. I wonder if the fingers might be starting to get a little bit cold over there. Having to play so long today, certainly. Zanil now in the air, trying to get this double tap. Lion Blaze well placed on the backboard, makes secondary contact as well to find Hawkser for the transition downfield, and maybe even a little bit more. Hawkser, the air drag take. Smashgg is able to read it, and no immediate follow-up for Ghost. They will just try to play this one a little bit slow and a safe transition down to the defense. A very important one at that. We talked about the strength of the Torrent offense in so many different aspects.
Honestly, it's just been so incredible. And as much as I have to agree with you in saying that it's been a long day, I'm not surprised if they're starting to get a little bit, worn down from how long they've had to play. I don't think that their fingers are getting cold. I think their fingers are getting sweaty, because that's how I feel right now. Every single play has got me on the edge of my seat, dripping at this point. And well, Hawkser, it's drip or drown. And this man, he is dripping to the T. What a pass from Shock, though.
Zanil trying to make that read. It's a desperate one at that, because you know that there's somebody lurking out there. You don't know when you need to make contact. It's going to be a quick attack, or is it? And Hawkser is just waiting patiently for it. I mean, Shock took their time with that play. They waited for the Torrent defense to dive in on that one and commit, and now Torrent find themselves in the deficit. Oh, the play from Kinsey, though, forces the defender on the goal line to get in the air, and it's enough for Smashgg to snipe the gap.
I was a fool for thinking that would be the last goal of this game. Honestly, Kinsey, you are just such a bully. I've got to repeat it again. Smashgg is just sort of that teacher. He's taking Zanil under his wing and going, look, this is how you do that. And meanwhile, Kinsey is going through throwing haymakers at everybody in the hallway. This is ridiculous. Torrent, the cohesion from this team makes it so that even when Ghost are popping off, it is so difficult for them to hold onto their leads. And again, that is not to discredit Ghost. They look insane right now. Their passing plays on the final third have been something spectacular. And man, could these solo plays also be influential. Hawkser with a flip reset, gets it past two. Shock is there to keep the pressure, but Kinsey is there to 50-50 and at least relieve it for now. Although Lion Blaze, he's causing even more problems here. Ghost all of a sudden got Torrent in a vulnerable position. Can they capitalize? No, they'll dive instead. Lion Blaze on the back half has to try and make a save. We could be heading for our second overtime in a row. Squid, I said this. I expected every single game in this series to go to overtime. I didn't actually think it was going to happen, though, when we're going to possibly go there, but here comes the pressure. Hawkser drops it low. Lion Blaze in front of the net, denied by Kinsey, but there's at least one more shot here. A Shock out of the corner, and lets it drop, and we head to overtime number 2 for the series.
My goodness, Torrent. Absolutely icy right now, but Hawkser has been looking so good. He's got control immediately off the face-off, is able to 50 it past Zanil, and they're right back onto the attacking side, though. Lion Blaze, no contact here. Smashgg going to try and beat out Shock to no avail. Oh my goodness. This has been a ridiculous competition so far. As you mentioned, 2 consecutive overtimes. First one was quite the close contest, and yet again, I mean, it's been more of a shootout this game, though. Both teams realizing their space and time, trying to get more individually based. Kinsey maybe look for something. No contact from Hawkser. Shock does have the backup, but it's getting a little bit desperate here for Ghost on the defense. Shock's going to try and chase this one down and barely makes contact on that play to get it away from the offense. A Torrent beginning to bear down on the opponents. Smashgg for the double tap, finds the angle, and Turner up 2 in the grand final.
I don't know how many times I'm going to say this today, but just 2 ways to Sunday you could see this happening, and Lion Blaze knew it as well. Tries to go up, but unfortunately can't make the contact. It was a narrow angle. It was a slim chance, but it doesn't matter because Torrent will walk away with the win regardless. Second overtime victory in a row. If anyone was wondering if Torrent have the ice, well, here's a good example. They are quite literally frozen. Nothing can stop them.
Every goal is assisted. They have 10 saves on the game against 13 shots from Ghost Gaming. And that doesn't even include some of the clutch bump plays that we saw, particularly Magic Bear. We saw Lion Blaze in the dying moments of regulation going for a double tap, and it looked like it was a guaranteed play. But Magic Bear, I think the only player that I have ever seen even consider going for the bump play against Lion Blaze off of their own back wall and getting physical. The vision from Torrent has been stellar. Ghost Gaming, I mean, it was a great response. That offense was exactly what I wanted to see, but it just wasn't enough.
They're trying everything. I've got to give credit to Ghost Gaming here. Against probably almost any other team in North America, they would have probably found a handful of goals, if not more, in this one. But Torrent just seems so prepared. I mean, we were critical of Lil Step Bros before for the fact that they just kept going for these last-second saves. I was like, this is not sustainable. Long-term, this cannot work out. Torrent are proving us wrong. Apparently, it does work out because they are continually finding these miraculous saves that come back not only in their favor, but turn into such fluid offenses in the blink of an eye. A good example there, as very quickly Zanil is on the ball. I don't know what else to say about this point. I want to try and give some more compliments to Ghost Gaming because they are playing an immaculate series, but the issue is that every time it looks like Ghost are starting to get good, everyone on Torrent are just that little bit better. Oh my gosh, and this should be a goal to prove it. Yep, there's Zanil. There's the first one for Torrent.
We're running out of ways to say great. I'm going to need to pull up my thesaurus here before too long, but Magic Bear just so freaking beefy up there off the backboard. 2 players trying to make that clearance, and they can't do it. And Zanil, of course, is going to be there to clean it up fast.
Wait, would you expect anything else? No, probably not. Honestly, what I'm expecting at this point is for Ghost to start shaking their head at these goals because they've got to be so frustrated. Every single time it looks like they're getting back into the series, they are just edged out by their opponents. I expected this one to go to 7. If we go to overtime 4 games in a row and it's another sweep in favor of Torrent, I'm not necessarily going to be against it. But Ghost, I want to see you guys come to life. You are one of the most electric teams in this entire scene. I know that you can put up more than just resistance against Torrent. You can take them down and do so handily, but you're going to have to get past the defense first. Once again, Kinsey coming up as a clutch savior, and he might even be able to get himself a goal for it as well. Cherry picking on the other end, interrupted by Hawkser, but the offense is still there. Only momentarily, though. Shock's got a boomer, and oh my, Zanil's got a save. How many times have we said that here today?
Great placement, great power, and still Zanil's able to make the play. Ghost, I mean, you mentioned it. They are looking so good. Torrent just somehow looking that little bit better. Trying to take that momentum for the NRG series well and truly. That was almost a team pinch on the Ghost defensive side to get that one out. We said we need to see Shock and Hawkser both come alive to assist Lion Blaze. It honestly feels like it's been a little bit of the inverse story. Lion Blaze here to make the save on that shot towards the top corner. And yet, I mean, regardless of the fact that both Shock and Hawkser have really started to ignite in this series, we see very little success for them on the offense in a lot of their situations, and that was reflected in the stat line from the last game. 10 saves on the Torrent side. That just goes amongst their numbers against what it was 13 shots from Ghost, so they're clearly putting on a lot of pressure. So far this game, it's left something to be desired as Magic Bear tries with a direct pass to Zanil. I still have so much faith in these guys on the orange half of the field. And even though Torrent are getting out in the front there's still some control on the defensive side. Shock looking to try and beat Zanil, but just cannot do it.
They're trying so hard, and even in those awkward moments where it looks like a good transition is going to catch them off guard, somehow Torrent are able to recover, especially with a double commit like this. Can they recover this time? Indeed they can. Somehow Magic Bear gets that one and gets not just a clearance, but a boomer of a pinch the other way, but no one's home for this one! Double commit out at midfield, and finally Hawkser opens up the scoreline for Ghost Gaming.
But this pass the Lion Blaze directly onto the hood of Hawkser. What kind of double commit are you looking at, Baz? There's no way they can read that. They're just so perfectly put together. Lion Blaze, to have that kind of accuracy from point-blank range, there is no overstating how well that play was executed on the Ghost side. But Magic Bear looking to get it back, the solo efforts. And we know how deadly he can be on the attacking side if you give him space. But still, it didn't even seem like a contest for Ghost. They had all the option covers they needed. They're able to put it away here past halftime. We're now searching for a leader yet again. And the double tap here from Hoxer. No, it's a fake! It's a shock! Wonderfully placed! But Magic Bear is still there! Lion Blaze going to try for the follow-up, but it's not nearly enough. Kinsey so well prepared for it.
Honestly, I thought that was guaranteed to be a goal. I just don't understand how every time Torrent are able to understand the mental of the other team, recognize passing plays like that are even faking them out. There's another fake as well, but I still somehow think that Caden's gonna get back to this one, but no, he misses the ball. He was available, but just barely can't make the touch, and that is a huge play for Ghost Gaming.
That it is, but I gotta say, Zanil, he wants to do everything. And unfortunately, you got Shock chasing you down like that, you got to avoid him, and then you got to make the play, and it can be quite a hassle to do so. Oh, off the face-off. Hoxer has to get back to that one. Torrent have 100 seconds to deliver us onto another overtime. They want the chance to take this to a 3-0 advantage. Ghost cannot afford to lose this game at this point. Obviously, they'll still have an extra life, but a reverse sweep and a best of 7? No, sir. Again, we got to get direct out here. Figure out how many stats, how many times we've seen that kind of situation actually come to pass. But Ghost, they're just trying to hold on to this lead for right now. Seems like offense is just an afterthought for them at this point. I think they just want to hold on to this possession.
Honestly, I cannot blame them considering how quick the transitions have been and how punishing they have been for Torrent on repeat. Just hoping to take away seconds off this clock is probably going to be their best option. Although their option right now is clear it off the half, and that's going to be a difficult thing when 2 players commit. And all of a sudden it's Lion Blaze in a 1v1. If you want a player in a 1v1, it's probably going to be Lion Blaze. But the issue is that there is 1v1 prowess on the other side as well. I gotta say, Magic Bear and Kinsey have stepped up phenomenally, and they do it again. But Lion Blaze plays it low. Clever Lion Blaze. This is a brilliant shot.
You can see how hard this was going to be for Torrent to play away. You have Hoxer threatening with the solo play. They force Magic Bear into the air. With that, Kinsey also has to avoid the demo from Shock. And then Lion Blaze just says, you know what? Who needs to put that bar down? I'm just going to go straight underneath the Magic Bear for this one. They had a 50-50 chance of making that correct play call on the defensive side. And now Torrent, a 2-goal deficit. This is the first time we've seen this series go this way. Out of the corner, though. Oh, what a save by Lion Blaze. Somehow, half of that ball was highlighted. And Torrent, they're still looking for it. But Shock so much quicker on the attack for that follow-up play. And that might just be it. Shock looking downfield, maybe for a little bit extra insurance. But I think it's a moot point here. I don't know where in the world that Ghost defense came from. But Torrent just desperate now to find something, and that's going to be the end of the game.
Oh, and it might just be another goal for the road as well. Here goes, rip one on target. Magic Bear able to turn it away. But what they really do is turn this series around from a bleak 2-0 deficit in favor of Torrent. Ghost finally find their first real strikes of this series, and man, what a difference it made. Ghost Gaming starting to finally get a handle on the series and slow down Torrent, and I think that's the big thing. Torrent before this were kind of charging at every ball, winning 50-50s on repeat, and sort of never second-guessing themselves. Not a single time was there a doubt in their mind. Now that Ghost Gaming are starting to mess with them with these variations of shots, these variations of ways that they are approaching the offense, it is going to be a whole lot more difficult for Torrent to just wrap themselves around this series. We're going to continue trucking on here. Torrent and Ghost Gaming going to move into game number 4, and this is where I feel like Ghost have got to find yet another win. 3-1 is still just as difficult to try and come back from. It may not be a reverse sweep, but Ghost, you want to stay in this series, you got to take game number 4.
We'll see. We'll see if my voice has enough energy left for the remainder of this series. Magic Bear already trying to get started with the solo antics. But Kinsey blocked away by Shock very early on here in Neo Tokyo. Worth mentioning as well, Ghost, the defending champions of the AAACS Super Challenger events. And so they have the experience in this particular competition. However, this series has been a bit, I think a bit back and forth would be a...
just a bit.
Yeah, that'd be a bit of a cop-out classification. We'll see how things develop as we move forward here. We've already seen one save forced out of either side, seems. 40 seconds gone off the clock. We are getting settled in for another long competition here, Bass.
Getting settled, dog, I've put up my lazy boy. I have kicked my feet back, and I'm ready for this one to go the distance. There's no way that we don't see this go. I want to say there's no way we don't see this go to Game 7, but honestly, with the way that both of these teams have played and the way that they've been able to swing momentum in their favor at certain points, there's definitely a real possibility.
Shock. Oh, okay, that demolition almost actually opened up an angle for Shock. They're going to cut in here, and that one, Zanil is ready for it. Thank goodness. Another demolition, though. Hoxer The flick's not good enough to beat out Magic Bear. Shock the first one to it. They might even have secondary contact, and they will towards the mid. But Lion Blaze beaten out by Zanil. Kinsey trying for the continuation downfield, and again, Hoxer has the read. This feels very similar, again, to what we saw in that NRG series. Magic Bear forced up to deny Lion Blaze that free goal. Hoxer, no double tap, but Shock read it the whole way, and Magic Bear follows suit. Up there on the backboard, no question is asked on either side about the nature of the play, and this is the Fury crafting we want to see come to life in this final series of the day and the tournament, and Kinsey finds the upper left-hand side with the assist of the demo.
I could hear that demolition from a mile away, and we both knew that it was coming. Kinsey just needed to pop this top left and does exactly that. A huge way to open up the scoreline here, and a brilliant way for all of Torrent to just sort of erase their nerves going into this fourth game. Again, the end of game number 3 looked a little bit sketchy for Torrent. Didn't necessarily feel like they were just as confident as before. And this could display some confidence as well, as Lion Blaze has to try and just run into the back end. Double demos flying everywhere. Magic Bear puts this one center, but Hoxer will turn it away. But this does look like the usual Torrent here, beating players in the air, just careening through the sky, and finds a boomer on target.
I'm watching that play, and I'm thinking I see Lion Blaze in the air for that one. I thought to myself, there's no way he gets paid out on that ball. I never expected that one to be on target, and yet, there we were. Zanil, so fast out of that play, giving their team insurance. Torrent looking for more, even that fade from Kinsey to Magic Bear to Zanil, and the cross is too much for Shock to handle. They're up 3-0.
I say this a lot. Usually I don't say it in the finals where the two teams have been going back and forth, but sometimes when you take a win away from a team that has been on a hot streak, you don't actually win anything. All you do is poke the bear out of hibernation and get them oh so angry. That's what it looks like right now. Torrent took their first loss in 6 games, and now they are furious they're even put in this position. And well, he's going to continue to do Zanil things. Zanil, yet another save on the line. Kincaid and coming to the rescue for what feels like the upteenth time throughout this series and throughout this day. Again, folks, if you're not aware of the young gun that is Zanil here on Torrent, please take note. This kid is in his first split of RLCS, just wrapping it up, and he has already made more than just a name for himself.
The rank B success story. Oh my goodness, grinded all the way up through 6 men, now making a name. Oh, Hoxer. Oh, buddy, that one is gonna sting something fierce. They got 2 minutes now. They're just gonna have to forget about it. Short-term memory is one of your greatest allies when it comes to playing in high-pressure situations like this, especially considering Torrent's about to put you down. Oh, what a bump against Magic Bear. They had everything to shoot at on that free shot, and now a demo. But Kinsey out of the play. Lion Blaze does not have an angle on target. We'll pick up a demolition on that one out of the corner. Magic Bear with such a huge, hard read out of that corner. Hoxer looking for something desperate towards the net, and it will be saved away. Of course, Zanil going to get in the way of that one. Already cleared downfield. Torrent on their way to number 4 and looking for that game number 3 to move on the match point.
You want to know the scariest part about this? This feels like a Ghost Gaming game. If you guys remember how the Ghost Gaming squad finished off Little Step Bros, it was 2 4-0 shutouts in a row. Squid, can you read that number up top there? Does that say 4? I think it does. This is a complete flip of the script. What was a close series back and forth, we finally get a breakaway from Ghost and think that, okay, so maybe Ghost are coming to life. No, like I said, all you did was anger the Hornet's Nest, and now they are not just buzzing, they are thriving and taking over this pitch. Torrent with an overwhelming scoreline here in game number 4. And unfortunately for Ghost, this is not even the end of their series. They're going to still have to try and bounce back in game number 5 just to stay alive. It's not a bad thing if they finish in 2nd place. That's still $700. But after being the champions of the previous Super event, you want to go back-to-back. What? Bro, what?
Dude, you gotta be kidding me. Look, at this point, for Ghost, I gotta wonder if they're just saying GG go next. So of course, they're still keeping this one at least competitive in the Torrent half. And it's good to see the tenacity from these lads. We need to see involvement from Shock. We need to see involvement from Hoxer, and Lion Blaze is certainly putting their name out there on the pitch still. And yet Torrent have been able to hold them to 0 goals so far here on Neo Tokyo. Shutouts are no surprise for us at this point, as they have been able to hold the kings of North America to 0 goals in 3 games worth of Rocket League and half of game 1 as well. Here's just number 5 for the road. They just want to feel as confident as possible going on the match point. And Ghost, what is your game plan?
Okay, Torrent, I know you guys got some staff in here. Roland, where you at? What'd you feed these guys for breakfast today? What did you force them? Like, what happened? Because, again, I have been a huge fan of this team. I have shouted their names from rooftops saying how they are the next up. I did not think that they would be the next up against the other next up. I've been screaming the exact same praises for Ghost Gaming, and when we saw a final like this, I expected a back and forth of monumental occasions. We got that for 3 games straight, and then Torrent decided, all right, it's time to take my ankle weights off. They're just basically like Rock Lee and Naruto against Gaara, going, okay, you thought that I was powerful? Just give me a second. And now they have leveled up to a different degree, shutting out Ghost Gaming in game number 4 in 5-0 fashion. And speaking of 5, guess who also finished off in 5? NRG finish off their opponents in Lil Step Bros, move on to take 3rd place and secure their spot in the championship at the end of the summer. Question is, which one of these 2 teams are going to join them there with a win in their back pocket and $2,000 to their name? Torrent, Ghost Gaming, you guys have got quite the battle ahead, but for Torrent, a chance to close this one out in 5.
Still, though, Ghost not going quietly into the night. They had no goals, but not for lack of trying. 12 shots in total. Torrent are just that much better when it comes to playing that backline defense. I got to admit, it's still looking dangerous. Despite the fact that 5 goals were allowed for Torrent, Ghost Gaming are still very much in this of, it's going to take 3 straight wins. But Bass, we know them not to be quitters. I mentioned how Shock, Hoxer, and Lionblaze need to be involved as a cohesive unit in order to have a chance at this one. And so far, I have been impressed by their gameplay. Torrent, they're very strong, and I think this is just the natural progression of things. But for Ghost Gaming, I've never known them to be quitters. As we move on towards Game 5 now, I have a very real expectation that they are going to be able to run this one back at least a little bit. You will not see them get shut out again. I highly doubt it. We're looking to get this game underway. I believe that we are, we got it. Okay, we got it. I had a little bit of scoreboard bug there. I'm so glad for that as well, because you don't want to ice out these players at all.
We need them red hot at this point here. The only ice I need to see is in their clutch on the pitch here. Well, it would be pretty clutch if Torrent can wrap this one up in 5. Like we said, they honestly, I don't want to say that it'd be a disappointing result for them at that point because it'd be an incredible one, but they honestly are going to think back and go, man, we could have just 8-0'd to end our night. We could have just outright won every single game. Oh, but it's going to be difficult if Ghost Gaming put in the first blow. They find the first goal here in game number 5 and maybe keep the team alive.
Beautiful challenge there by Shock, and of course, Hoxer's going to be there to follow up in tandem with the physical play. Ring, ring, hello. Yeah, it's Ghost offense. We're back.
Honestly, at this point, someone's got to ring the alarm and just let everybody know that there's an absolute fire sale going on both sides. Everybody is blazing hot going into this one. And if you want to get a goal, you got to do something incredible. And maybe Shock, you can do that right here. Got an extra touch on this one. All he gets is a 50-50, though. And Kinsey recognizes this could be a breakaway play. Shoots it on target, but Hawks are barely able to turn that one away. And as Magic Bear is met with a 50-50, it's up to Zanil to keep this one alive. I don't think he's got his flip reset in the bag, but he does get everyone from Ghost to jump on this ball and just try and make the save. Kinsey, he's going to force yet another save here as he pinches this one to the ceiling. Magic Bear is there, can only get a 50-50, but this is something we've seen before. When Torrent start to get their vice grip on this offense, it is so difficult to break out, but not if your name is Hoxer. Good 50-50, and finally, Ghost will relieve the pressure.
Just one challenge is all it takes, and speaking of, ooh, a very favorable respawn there for Hoxer. He's able to take complete control over this ball, try to get it around Zanil, and will do so, along with a challenge against Kinsey. Now Lionblaze staring downfield against Magic Bear. The 50 is made. Shock lurking down low, and you can see how the expectations have been adjusted here. Ghost, they certainly didn't go quietly into the Hoxer, almost with a double tap. He's not quite there. They're going to try and continue, but there is that clearance from Zanil. That'll buy him some valuable space and time for the Torrent defense. They'll get reset here. A minute 45 gone here out of Game 5. Ghost maintain this lead, and again, I'll remind the audience, they need 3 consecutive game wins if they want this grand final to go to them.
Now, honestly, that's something no one's been able to get against Torrent so far here in this competition. They've been such a solid team that getting multiple wins in a row against them seems like one of the most daunting tasks in Rocket League right now. They've got 3 minutes, though, just to hold on here, and if they can get another goal, that safety net would be oh so important. Could it be right here? No. Shock not quite able to find the follow-up from the touch off the backboard from Hoxer. The Lionblaze will at least be able to contain this out of midfield and set them up for yet another chance, but they need someone center. Hoxer not necessarily wanting to dive on that ball as he thought Zanil had a decent clear out, but instead, it's actually up to Smashgg, who will fake out on the side, get it around one, can't get it around another, though, and it's up to Zenil yet again on defense to try and clear this one out. Halfway through game number 5 here, it does feel like Ghost Gaming have started to get a little bit of a handle on what was the offensive explosion in game number 4 out of Torrent, but can they do it again? Bump in the middle, and it's not enough! Smashgg somehow recovers and is able to keep out what would have been a surefire second goal here for Ghost Gaming.
Only a moment of vulnerability there on the back end, and they were not able to take advantage immediately. Lionblaze just did not have the control. But I mean, you want to talk about control, Ghost Gaming have had more than a handle on this game. They have been locking down Torrent in their own half of the field. They haven't necessarily been overcommitting for these shots on target. They almost had one there, by the way. It was saved out. Lionblaze out of the corner. Perfect shot. No, not quite. The crossbar, but Huxer is there. Placed it on the right side, and they've got insurance late in the game.
Oh, and there we go. This is what we need to see out of Ghost Gaming. Make the defense awkward. It is so rare that they cannot make a save, but with 2 players on, both Kinsei and Zenil are not quite sure who's going to dive on the ball, who's going to be able to get that save, and that will be enough. Just over 100 seconds to play. It's still possible for Torrent to turn this one around, but it feels like we're heading on to yet another game here. Game 6. I mean, hey, Vaudable would be happy. If they close this one out in 6, his prediction is perfect.
We'll see. Torrent, though. Oh, Smashgg behind everybody! Smashgg! Bass, what is this? Just conjuring goal number 1 for Torrent, seemingly out of thin air.
This is my caster curse rearing its ugly head yet again. As soon as I say, all right, we're going to game 6 and we're going to wrap this one up there, all of a sudden Torrent go, you sure about that one? What if we just finish this here and now? They've got 90 seconds to do so, but at that point, all they do is send us to yet another overtime, our 3rd one of the series thus far. It wouldn't be a surprising result, but honestly, for Ghost Gaming, it would be a devastating one at that, as they held on to the lead for over 3 minutes of this game. If they cannot hold on to it for another 80 seconds longer, it would be such an uphill task for them to turn this one around. But maybe they can just get another goal for the road and reestablish that 2-goal lead. A minute to do so, pressure against them, but a pinch like that is going to make it difficult to keep it in the half. Zenil booms it out to the side, and I think there should be a follow-up. There was going to be out of Kinsei. Instead, it's Smashgg in a 1v1 versus Hawkser, and it might work out. To the ceiling it goes. Zenil is there, but shocked. He's there first, and with 50 seconds left, there's not a lot of time for Torrent to restart this offense again.
I've got some big concerns for Ghost right now. Earlier on, I was going to commend them for holding the Torrent plays to a minimum. They were making so many good forced challenges on the offensive end, and it was really putting down the vice grip. And yet, now they find themselves defending here. In the final 30 seconds of play, a demolition for Torrent. Kinsei, the flip reset. Zenil is denied by Lionblaze, but only barely, and he's got no boost to spare. Smashgg towards the mid with the flip reset. Shock is there to meet it. They still need to keep this one under control. Zenil, the slow play, over to Smashgg, but they go for the demo instead. Akeem is communication, but they still got the shot. No, Lionblaze dives in front. The final attempt to get it taken away, and still Torrent, they have complete boost control and complete offensive control. Hawkser comes out in front for that one. They're looking to try to push this one to OT. Smashgg towards Kinsei. They go to the ceiling, down, but no kill away. Ghost Gaming barely hang on.
Ghost Gaming hang on by a thread, but that's what it's going to take if you want to take down the monster of Torrent here. Beautifully played by Ghost Gaming to a T, making sure that even when the interference came, even when Torrent were bumping players off the line, someone was there to rotate in and fill in the gaps. That is everything I want to see out of Ghost Gaming, and that is how they turn this series around if they can continue to play like that. I will say, Torrent, they definitely made it a lot more difficult for Ghost than I was expecting at the end there. What looked like it should have been them just sort of, accepting the reality. Going to game 6, they made it difficult. They made it hard. And last time that Ghost Gaming took a win, Torrent responded with a 5-0 shutout. Again, poking the bear, a pretty apt analogy here. Let's see if they can do it again.
Ghost now, all they got to do is win 2 games of Rocket League. Really not that tall of an order when you think about it. So just keep your head in the right space here. One step at a time. And Bass, you mentioned it. They did just such an amazing job of locking down Torrent. They had so much zone control. Ghost, that is the absolute pinnacle of your gameplay so far tonight. And yet Torrent still have a couple of lives left. You're going to have to perform out of your minds in order to keep this up. And we did see that adaptation from Torrent. They started to break down into the offensive end on the Ghost side. So everything is in the air now. They've got to keep up the pressure. They cannot afford to let their foot off the gas right now because Torrent will slam you face first into your grave.
Oh, indeed they will. Let's see, can they do it here and now? Or will there be an opening goal for Ghost Gaming? They get a great kickoff and a breakaway play here, but they don't really do all too much with it. Not if Sunil can't make the clear. Hold on, maybe the vulnerability and awkwardness in the defense is a little bit more prevalent than I thought. Yeah, no, never mind. They're already linking up with plays like that, and although they're just a little bit off the mark, that will be enough for them to alleviate the pressure and get set up for a proper defense here. 30 seconds into this one, it looked a little bit shaky for Torrent, but it's not going to stay that way.
We'll see. Ghost, I mean, they had some good zone time. Certainly no shots on target, though. Torrent doing an amazing job to adjust to what we could have expected from that last game. A demolition allows Magic Bear space and time, trying to get underneath of one. Cannot do it. And Shock will easily play this one away, although there's still a player in the zone. Zanil actually backs off and lets Magic Bear take control. It's looking a little bit dicey for Ghost on the defense. They are able to play it away in the end. Still Magic Bear under control, bumped away from this one. I commended Magic Bear for making a similar play to defend a double tap earlier on. It's Ghost, a responding kind. First minute come and gone, 0 goals scored. This one, a close chance. Lion Blaze can't get it inside of the uprights either. We'll continue to play scoreless.
Oh, but that's a big play from Kinsei. He dishes this one out to Zanil, and I think this is going to, well, I was going to say, sort of make it awkward here for Ghost in that corner. It did, but a demo like that will alleviate all the pressure that Torrent were starting to build. Well, speaking of pressure here, Hawkser with all the pressure in the world in a 1v1 versus Zanil. That's not a player you want to try and 1v1 on this day. He is doing so much here for Torrent, but so is everybody on the squad. Again, Torrent, one of the most threatening teams here in this competition due to the fact that all 3 of their players have been just so cohesive as a whole. I could say the same thing for Ghost, but it does feel like it's sort of momentary openings for them where they are able to utilize all 3 of their players. Other times it's solo plays, other times it's physical plays, but for Torrent, the name of the game has been passing and linking up in ways that you would never imagine. Although, right now, it's up to Zanil by himself to try and prevent this one. Hawkser not going to necessarily be too quick with the shot, though, so it gives enough time for Torrent to reimagine themselves on defense. And Magic Bear, well, you don't have to imagine all too much about that one there. He clears that downfield, and finally Torrent can march back into offense.
It was a very good decision by Magic Bear to be quick out to that ball as well. They almost found that pass out to Kinsei. Contact wasn't on target. Hawkser was pretty well placed to cover most of the net. Should that ball have been on target? I think that might have been one of their most quality opportunities yet, though, Bass. We now pass halftime. Magic Bear just driving towards the center. Thankfully for Ghost, Hawkser will be there to bail out their teammate, but this is a much slower paced game, it would seem. I mean, there's been so many changes of possession, but it's all about trying to find this one little gap in the opposing rotation and then trying to collapse in upon it. We haven't seen that chance just yet. Kinsei not enough boost to get a double tap there towards the mid. Hawkser going to try to find Lion Blaze. And Magic Bear, I honestly feel like they might have been able to make that cutoff, but you can see how respectful they're being of the opposing team. They don't want to make that one critical mistake. They have 1 life left here in this series if they do fall to Ghost, but they certainly don't want to use it.
No, they really do not. They want to play this one safe, and what this feels like is game number 1 all over again. Both of these teams knew that they were feeling so confident, came into this one trying to sort of guess how the other team was going to play and really reading them like a textbook, and that is what is happening now. The teams are reassessing each other, trying to figure out how they're going to be able to penetrate a defense, and that is how! Shock with the littlest extra touch with his wheel, and with under 100 seconds to go, Ghost are looking to keep the series alive.
That double commit, Magic Bear got up in the air. You can see Zanil was trying to cover that top angle shot from Lion Blaze, and it ends up causing that one key moment of weakness in the defense. Ghost with the lead, but can they keep it? There have been many a clutch play so far today. Will it be Ghost that hold on to it, or will it be Torrent who are able to break out? That control could be one of the biggest boons for Ghost. That's a huge 50-50 by Lion Blaze. Kinsei going to keep this one playable, but not for long. Magic Bear does have to defer over to Shock. Maybe a little bit too much speed. Where is Kinsei going on that one? It was a direct pass, but Torrent leaves the half and allows for Ghost to get out into the attacking zone.
Oh, that should have been a huge play for them. Hold on, they may still have another one. Oh. Kinsei on target, and King Kinsei shows his head yet again. Every time we count Torrent out of this game, and they do something like this. When is it not going to take us by surprise, Squid?
I have no idea. Kinsei must have just been building up his power. He saw that pass come from Magic Bear, and he's like, nah, I feel like Ghost would probably be able to block that. I'm just going to go ahead and 2v1 their entire team. All right. There you go, Kinsei. Hawkser. I mean, Ghost, though, they still in this. We could have a Game 7 on our hands, depending on how this one goes. Kinsei, oh, he's got such a good look at this one. The double tap's not there. The fall from Magic Bear, just too high. Zanil blocked out by Hawkser. What vision from the defense have we seen from Ghost? It's been so perfect, almost a rule 1 there on the side. But still, we continue to play. Oxer towards Lion Blaze. Lots to shoot at. Off the backboard. Kinsei going to be there first by a mile. We move into gold and gold territory very soon here. Magic Bear to Kinsei. The 50 is made. But Zanil now 1v1 potential. Shock. Not going to be able to get it past the last man. We will continue to play Bass.
We continue to play. I don't know if I'm going to call this playing. I'm going to call this playing with fire at that. It's 15 seconds to go here. And Lion Blaze, he's going to try and close this one out and send us to a game number 7. Champions Fields await if we can see a win out of Ghost Gaming. But they may need to do that in the clutchest of moments. 4 seconds left. They got to just let this one drop. Overtime, a better option than trying to fight against the Torrent, who seem to have all the momentum in the world. And well, that momentum will end. We head to yet another overtime, potentially to crown a champion here of the AAA Challenger Series Super Event 2.
My goodness, Ghost. What a battle it has been to get here. Torrent, the story, 4-0 against NRG to make it into the grand finals, and now Ghost somehow standing against what's sent to be an unstoppable beast. And speaking of, Magic Bear trying to lead the way. No dunk comes through off the backboard. Zanil in the air, the young gun trying to finish the game, but Lion Blaze is there in kind to respond to the defense. And Torrent's first bid to put themselves into the first place spot for this tournament and end it all for us has gone by the wayside. This a wayward touch downfield, but not enough from Hoxer to be able to make that touch on target.
And it's not going to be enough, but they now do have some pressure on the half, although that's a brilliant pass out of Kinsei because it links up immediately with Zanil. It's not going to be enough to keep the pressure on the half here, but it is going to be enough that they can collect some boost and reassess themselves on their back end. We've seen this before, though. This is exactly like game number 1. Like we were saying before, goes through everything at offense, an onslaught of shot after shot after shot after shot, but a single breakaway play is what ended that game overall, and it could end it here. Not the best touch out of Lion Blaze, so Magic Bear is going to go for the 1v3. Cannot get past the defense as Shock makes a decent touch, but well, that could be an even better one because Zanil reads this perfectly. He's not quite able to get this one center, or at least not too cleanly, but Magic Bear is there. Shot on target, and he cannot save it. Magic Bear puts in the dagger, and Torrent are your Super Event number 2 champions.
Nobody more deserving after the emphatic victories that we've seen out of Torrent. Despite Ghost's best efforts, they could not defend the title, and Torrent will be taking the number 1 seed in the AAACS Championship. Ghost, they fall into that second spot. Still a good result for them, but $2,000 to your victors, Magic Bear, Zanil, and Kinsei.